Hello and welcome to the Daily Signal. Let's see what the conservatives are up to today. Before we get started today, I want to talk briefly about what happened in Chicago last night. 6 people were gunned down during a 4th of July parade in Chicago by somebody who was on a roof with a sniper rifle. The gentleman in question has been apprehended, and based on what we know so far, this is somebody who has a picture of themselves wrapped in a Trump flag, has been to a Trump rally. In the name of fairness and balance, the news is also reporting that he liked a post about Biden on Facebook, which feels like a lot more minor a commitment than going to a Trump rally and buying a flag. Already, of course, some people are connecting this with Trumpism. And it might surprise some of you to learn that I disagree. I think that our society is profoundly sick and that mass shootings are one of the most horrific symptoms of that sickness. I think that whatever it is that is causing people to lose hope to the extent that killing a bunch of people seems preferable to living a regular, normal life, which is a level of dysfunction that's difficult to wrap one's head around. And the fact that this happens with stunning regularity, I think, is linked to the same thing that makes Trumpism so appealing to so many, namely that society is unbearable. Whatever is happening in America right now is absolutely caustic to the human soul. Horrible shit. I don't have anything more to say about it. Just awful, just absolutely awful. And anyway. So speaking of 4th of July, awkward, we are going to talk today about a video about 4th of July from PragerU. I'm sure you're aware of PragerU. They're not a particularly serious outlet, but this is more interesting than a lot of their takes because it's a little bit more subtle, and it speaks to a trend in politics that I personally find slightly disturbing. By the way, a fun game that you can play at home is count how many people of color appear in this video. I will reveal the grand total at the end. So without any further ado, let's get to it.
Today we did a really special 4th of July ceremony, and we at PragerU Kids like to call it the Declaration Ceremony, to teach our children and families and us parents and adults as well the true meaning of what Independence Day really is. The hardships, the battles, the fight for freedom. Because if we don't teach our children the importance of this day, how are we going to keep our country together, and how are they going to be reminded about the foundation that America was built upon?
So, I'm not sure that I would personally characterize America as defined by struggle and hardship. That is certainly, there's a story about how we began that involves that, but is that really what defines America? I'm just not sure. Anyway, let's continue.
In God we trust. In God we trust means that in America, we believe that our rights and liberties have been granted to us by the Creator, and therefore they cannot be taken away by human beings.
A quick question. This is a declaration ceremony, so I would assume that it would be about the Declaration of Independence. I would assume that it would center around that document, and I would assume wrong, because already we're talking about "In God We Trust," a motto that didn't even exist until the American Civil War. At that time, the Union adopted it because the abolition movement was extremely linked to Christianity. Eventually, the motto became America's official motto. It appeared on the penny in the late 1800s. Eisenhower signed it into law that "In God We Trust" was the nation's motto in the 20th century. So, this has nothing to do with the Declaration of Independence. And I do think that's important, because we are already teaching children an alternate history of how this country was founded.
What if we could teach a ritual to every person around America to not just celebrate 4th of July, but to actually celebrate and understand the meaning behind this Independence Day, the meaning behind America?
So the ceremony today is really unique and it's super special. And the way we start it is to have everyone take a sip of iced tea to remember the Boston Tea Party.
All right, time for the pretzel. Why? To remember the salty tears and suffering of the soldiers during the harsh winter at Valley Forge.
Ring a bell to symbolize our Liberty Bell. We also dip strawberries and blueberries into whipped cream to symbolize our red, white, and blue.
That is the most Midwestern ritual I've ever heard of in my entire life. We'll get to how weird this is after it's over.
Courage, purity, perseverance of our American flag.
Okay, so you all have a coin at your seat. Let's see everybody grab one of those. And let's look at them. What words do you see on them? Liberty. Liberty means that we are all free to pursue our dreams and go as far in life as hard work and good fortune will take us.
All of these rituals add up so that we can remember the history and the foundation of our country. And perhaps the most important thing, the most significant that we do with our families, young and old, is sign our names to the bottom of a replica of the Declaration of Independence.
So, what PragerU has done here is create a religious ceremony for nationalism. This is an attempt to create a nationalist religion. So, what's the problem with that? Well, so just to get this out of the way real quick, I am not at all anti-American. I actually love this stupid country. I would not complain about it so much. I would not make videos about it. I would not have devoted my silly life to studying it and figuring out some of the forces that are controlling it if I didn't love this place. I grew up loving this country. At 18, I joined the military out of an excess of patriotism. I don't love the country in the same way that I did then. I've learned about a lot of flaws that I simply was not aware of as a child. But the dream of America is something that I still find beautiful. It's not a dream we've ever realized, but it's a dream that I wish that we could, and that at one point I thought that we could, if we worked hard enough. This idea of a land where all people really are created equal, like really, really equal, and where everybody has an opportunity to have a good life. No one, by the circumstances of their birth, is doomed to a life of poverty or more subject to violence. That, to me, is a beautiful dream. I'd like to live in a country like that. And I think that's what I'm really in love with when it comes to America, is that dream. Now, what I just did there is express a bunch of ideas about what I think America should be. I think that's kind of a cool thing to do on the 4th of July. I'm not telling you to do it, but I think that's a pretty reasonable thing to do. You know, on America's birthday, think about, like, what the hell is America? What do we want America to be? All of these things are ideological questions. Nothing about this video or this ceremony is ideological in the slightest. This is worship of our founding fathers. This is worship of documents written by men who believed that the governing law of a country should be a living document and that people should not be held captive by the ideas of their forefathers. And yet what we are doing here is essentially treating America's founding documents like religion.
So we have replicated this based upon the Passover Seder.
Yeah, okay. So we got to talk about this. I am not Jewish, and so I'm going to say very little about this. What I will say is that Dennis Prager is Jewish, and that this is very clearly modeled off Seder dinner, and that my problems with this ritual are that it is religious. I don't think that we should be putting religion into politics, by which I don't mean like a specific religion. I mean, generally speaking, the attitude of religion does not belong in politics. I've talked in earlier videos about this tendency of conservatives to treat American law as though it came from on high, as opposed to something that we developed and that can be changed and that should be examined by human beings. And that, to me, is the problem. I don't care what religion it's from. I care that it's religion. Anyone who makes an anti-Semitic comment in the YouTube comments will be deleted and blocked. Don't fucking test me on this. This isn't about that. After I'm done recording this video and right before I publish it, I'll come back at you with the results of a Twitter poll that I'm doing. I have asked Jewish people how they feel about this, and this isn't going to be the most scientific poll, obviously, because my Twitter following skews hard left, but anyway, that will be at least some kind of gesture towards getting Jewish voices into this video. Hello, it's me from the future. Here are the results. So as you can see, the results are slightly skewed towards not the worst thing you've ever heard, so take that for what it's worth.
We felt the need to come up with it because America is in danger. of forgetting our origins. If Jews survived 3,500 years, 2,000 of them without a country, we're in danger of losing our identity in our country, partially because we don't have rituals to celebrate it. This is a big danger to American survival.
Right, so we are focused here on ritual. We are focusing not on ideology, but ritual. By creating new rituals, we're returning to a glorified past that never existed, a past where In God We Trust is in the Declaration, and the Founding Fathers intended this to be a religion and not a living political document. The Founding Fathers were Enlightenment thinkers, for God's sake. They wanted to introduce rationality into politics, and we can have a whole discussion about how that ended up working out for us all, but, like, it was very explicitly founded on rejecting all of this shit. So, yeah.
Well, 4th of July is the celebration of the birth of the country that has done more for freedom than any other country in the history of the world, where more people around the world have wanted to move to than any other country in history, for a good reason. They know how good it is. If the 4th of July loses its importance, then it means America has lost its importance. A good part of this country has lost gratitude for being Americans.
We're going to launch something explosive and massive all over the country where other people year after year will celebrate not just the barbecue, not just fireworks, not just red, white, and blue outfits, but actually the celebration of the ideas that have made our country so great.
In no way is this about ideas.
Imagine, let's say you're a parent or you're a kid and your family forgot your birthday. What would that say about what they think about you? I think, look, anything a family does to make the day meaningful, say the Pledge of Allegiance, put the flag out. Every family should put the flag out on July 4th. It is a statement to your children that you take this country seriously. A wonderful and most important, meaningful 4th of July to you and your loved ones.
Okay, so that was certainly something. The reason that I chose this video today is because I do think that it really illustrates well the difference between the way that conservatives and liberals and leftists view America. When you say things like America has systemic racism, or America has systemic problems, or capitalism has problems, what they hear is you attacking their God. You are saying that the person and thing that they worship is bad. And this is a way that conservatives basically indoctrinate their followers to be completely closed off to the prospect that maybe we could make America better. Make America great again harkens back to an imaginary past. This idea that America was born great and the Founding Fathers did all the work, and now all we have to do is just kind of stick with their plan and we're going to be good. My personal motto would be make America better. Because we can always be better, right? Improvement's super cool. It's not an insult to not be good at everything right away. Sometimes you have to work really hard to get well. This part of the video was brought to you by my therapist. Like, it's okay that America wasn't born great. And I feel like there's like a way that we swing the opposite way. A mistake that I see a lot on the left, that because America was born in the blood of indigenous people and of black people that were enslaved and brought over here to basically form the backbone of the American economy, that we are doomed. Look, maybe we are irredeemable and I'm just blind, but I also think that it's okay to look at something, to look at your own country, the place of your birth or the place that you chose to live, and say, yeah, we're not a perfect place, but let's clean up this mess. Let's make it a better place. A place that can be something closer to the dream that's never been realized. Anyway, that was my possibly nauseatingly patriotic video. Thank you to my patrons who make this possible. A special thank you to Carl Hanna, Stephen Swan, Sue Seifert, Jordan Jackson, Sandra Elliott, Shaved Ice, Tina Kopolowski, Greg Bell, Friederich Keating, Just Trying to Support Shit, Alexander Krigsman, Alexandria Schneider, Benjamin Tupper, Blaine Newport, Brent Schrock, Brian Covey, Clint Alter, Gentira Alert, Jennifer Johnson-Berlis, Jules Taylor, Kristen Bott, Nathan Zilka, Paul, Polly, Soren, The Secret Chicken, Walker Brown, Caitlin Johnson, Michael Mataluni, Alex Glowowski, Ben Bagley, Elizabeth Brasa, George Taco, Ginger Nealon, Heather, Joey Reinsch, Lindsay Marone, Marvelicious, Mr. Zarak, RR, Tedder, Tiffany Vu, Zeke, Raina Terror, and Julian. So if you were playing the game at home of how many people who aren't white are in this video, what was your answer? Did you get 0? Because you're wrong if you got 0. There is one person of color in this video. He is right there. And, if you didn't spot him, you're the real racist. So, America, land of equality. There you go.